Well, assuming all goes well, this should be the first episode of bold statements that I post to YouTube. I might post a couple others that I wrote before this, but this is really only going to be relevant for the next 2 days, and I figured that I should push it to the front of the line. So, without further ado, I think it's about time that we dive on into this and take the inevitable hate that's coming my way. This week's statement is: Tom Brady didn't deserve to be voted into the Pro Bowl. If there's any good to come out of the Patriots making the Super Bowl, aside from this being the perfect year for Brady to retire, it might be the fact that he's not taking a spot from someone that deserves to be in the Pro Bowl more than he does. After working on a different blog, one that I may or may not turn into a video, I'm starting to realize that all-star appearances aren't really all that they're cracked up to be. This is especially true for the Pro Bowl, because I guess you can just say that you're busy and decide not to show up, giving an undeserving player, like Prescott or Trubisky, a free boost to their resume. Seriously, where was Matt Ryan? Just as unfortunate, like any all-star game, there's going to be snubs and people that deserve to get in but didn't. Some, if not all of these ended up being replacements, but Darius Leonard, Chris Jones and Joe, the leading rusher in the AFC, Mixon come to mind immediately. As for the quarterbacks, I didn't agree with Aaron Rodgers over Russell Wilson, but Matt Ryan as a replacement for Goff would have made the NFC look fine. The AFC, however, there was no hope in getting this one right, so I can't really be mad at AFC quarterbacks getting snubbed. That said, even though there's always a fan vote, I genuinely believe that Brady only got in because of his name. Am I saying that it was rigged? No. I'm saying that I could see people that don't really watch and analyze the sport voting for him, because he's the best quarterback to ever play the game, or even because people like my mother want to have a feel-good story and give him his 732nd record, even though I think that's the record he would care the least about. Regardless of why Brady was on the list for the Pro Bowl, he shouldn't have been in the top 3 quarterbacks for the AFC. Even the NFC would be a bit of a stretch, but I would at least call Brady a good replacement behind Brees, Ryan and Wilson. However, I don't even think Brady was a top 5 AFC quarterback this season. His yards were solid, but his touchdown to interception ratio was very un-Brady-like. In fact, remember how people were saying that the Vikings' offense came to a screeching halt? Well, Kirk Cousins had better numbers than Tom Brady this year. Not by much, but the fact that I can even say that sentence should say plenty. Tom Brady was not an all-star, and I'm going to list the 5 quarterbacks in the AFC that should have been above him. Honorable mention to Baker Mayfield, because while I don't think he quite had the stats to form an argument that he had a better year than Brady, he might have if he played all 16 games. Patrick Mahomes. He had the best statistical season in NFL history, there's a reason he won the vote.
Thank you, next, bitch!
Ben Roethlisberger. Despite the season that I just mentioned, this man had 32 more yards, and was not even voted into the Pro Bowl. Seriously. I know that the Steelers are one of those teams that every other fan base seems to hate, and you wouldn't have thought that Ben was anywhere near 5,100 yards with all the drama they had. However, the Patriots are even more polarizing, so I don't understand how Brady got in the Pro Bowl over the passing yards leader. Did Ben reject an invite? I wouldn't put it past him, especially considering what the rest of the Killer Bees have done this season, but that's the only explanation I have for why Ben isn't in the Pro Bowl. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a doubter of Philip Rivers, but I don't get the attention that he got all of a sudden. I've always known that he's been capable of this, and I don't even think that this is his best season. I think 2013 was. The only reasons people are acting like he found the fountain of youth is because he's representing LA, and this is the healthiest and the best that the Chargers have been in a decade. I don't even know if Rivers deserves to be in the Pro Bowl this season, but he was still better than Brady, both statistically and when it came to the voting results. As for Andrew Luck, I can at least understand this omission, but only because the Colts started 1-5 this season, and I believe that the votes open week 8. However, as much as people like to believe in the hype and follow the trends, I would have expected Andrew Luck to get more votes than the passing yards leader and get in. To be fair, he probably did get more votes than Ben, but I was still surprised that he was only a replacement. Deshaun Watson. I can admit to this one being a legitimate debate, but that doesn't change the fact that Brady got in the Pro Bowl over Luck and Big Ben. I did have to incorporate Watson's rushing stats in order to make a case for him here, but that's beside the point because you're supposed to include everything as it is. I should probably clarify for the Patriots fans though, because by looking at everything, I don't mean the name on the back of a jersey.